Everyone online is talking about how Paraguay is the next big opportunity. 0% tax, booming real estate, the next frontier. And yeah, some of that is true. But what nobody's actually breaking down here, honestly, is what really works for a foreigner, what just sounds good, but's really eating your capital, and what is just a straight up trap. I'm Caleb with Base in Paraguay, and I've been on the ground here for 3 years. Our team helps founders and investors build their base here in Paraguay every single day. And today I'm gonna rank the 6 real business opportunities here in Paraguay from worst to best. Let's get into it. Starting at the bottom is agriculture, which is surprising because Paraguay is an agricultural powerhouse. 8th largest beef exporter in the world, top 4 soy exporter, over $2 billion in beef exports in 2025 alone, 13.9 million heads of cattle. That is more than humans. These numbers are massive and they are real. Paraguay agriculture is growing and it is not something that is planning on slowing down. So why is it at the bottom? Because it is simply not your opportunity. In a large part, the meat processing industry here is controlled by Brazilian multinational. Minerva, for example, is the largest meat packer in the country. And then you have Marfrig, which processes 1,200 cattle per day. Then on the production side, you have companies like Newland, for example, with over 1,200 members. These guys dominate the supply chain here. And on top of that, the craziest part, 90% of agricultural land here is owned by 5% of landowners. That's right, there is a huge barrier to entry. And when we talk about crop production, Brazilian and Italian operations control the most. Breaking down the numbers particularly, prime mechanized soy land runs from 5,000 to 12,000 per hectare. And to put this into perspective, you need at least 1,000 hectares to be productive. That's a $5 to $15 million entry point. And if you're watching this video, that probably is not within your budget, with some exceptions, of course. Now, can you run a small boutique operation? Yes, you can, but with the right expectations. 100 to 300 hectare estancia, for example, with cattle grazing works as a solid lifestyle play. You can run a couple hundred heads of cattle, generate modest returns, and own a tangible asset that appreciates. But your expectations have to be real. This is more of a diversified land holding than it is a competitive business. Because the moment you try to scale or compete with the local cooperatives or multinationals, you will get crushed very, very fast. So yeah, agriculture in Paraguay is a massive, massive industry, but the major players are already well positioned, very comfy, and do not plan on leaving. So as a foreigner coming in with a few $100,000 to invest, for example, this is not the most optimized route. Which brings us to the next on the list, dining and hospitality. Asunción's dining scene is genuinely improving, and there are many, many examples of foreigners here who are crushing it. An American chef, for example, with a Michelin star recommendation from Buenos Aires, opened a restaurant here in early 2025. There's a Uruguayan chef who arrived in 2019 who's running a few spots too. And you'll also see a lot of Asian markets, Korean, Japanese restaurants, Taiwanese restaurants. My favorite place is a pho spot, Vietnamese pho. If you've had it, you know it's amazing. So it's here. There's foreigners doing business and operating in hospitality and doing pretty well. So you can do it, but here's the reality check too. Asunción is a city of 600,000 people. All right, and there's 2.7 million people in the broader metro area. Now, this is a relatively small market, which also means that the upper mid segment, the specialty coffees, the health-focused dining and wellness options, this kind of stuff is wide open. But we are seeing that a lot of the times these are passion projects from experienced operators rather than scalable businesses. So you have to set your expectations. And yeah, startup costs are significantly lower than they would be in the US or Europe. To put things into perspective, a small cafe or coffee concept can launch for $30,000 to $80,000 US. A mid-range restaurant can run from $80,000 to $200,000, and a premium concept with a full build-out can push $200,000 to $350,000, more or less. Which means payback in a good neighborhood can run 3 to 7 years, depending on the concept and execution, of course. So if you are an experienced hospitality operator who wants to bring something here that Asunción genuinely has not seen yet, this upper mid segment is open and there is a lot of potential. But if you're thinking about opening a restaurant here because the rent is cheap and you like the idea of owning a bar in South America, you are underestimating how hard it is to operate in the market here where you might not speak the first language, you don't understand the local taste, and you do not have an existing customer base, which in a relationship-heavy country like this, that is super, super important. So yeah, and cheap rent does not save a business with no customers. Another thing which is super, super important to this market specifically is that you will be managing local talent and Paraguayan labor. And that is a completely different dynamic than managing talent, let's say in the United States, Canada, or Europe. Work culture, communication styles, punctuality expectations, training standards, all of this is going to be different. And that's not a criticism, that's just the reality of the market here. And if you've never managed a team cross-culturally, Paraguay is not the easiest place to start learning that. That's why we do see the operators who do succeed here either have fluent Spanish experience, they have local partners who can help manage the team, or they have significant prior experience managing restaurants or hospitality projects in Latin America. So bottom line is this is a viable route, but it's conditional. And it's more of a lifestyle play than a scalable business operation for investors. And by the way, if you are considering any of these opportunities and you want our team to assess your specific situation, book a strategy call. The link is in the description. All right, so this next one is super exciting, and it's something everyone is talking about right now because it's really fresh and relevant in Paraguay. In early May 2026, Taiwan and Paraguay signed a sovereign AI computing center agreement. It's a binational entity for AI infrastructure. On top of that, a US-based company announced a $10 to $50 billion phased data center investment over the next 30 years. In addition, Hive Digital is expanding its facility to 400 megawatts. And as you might know, Paraguay produces 100% renewable hydroelectric energy, and it exports a massive surplus of this. So the energy advantage is real. But let's also be real about this too. These are MOUs and announcements, not operating cash flows and not revenue that you can participate in as a foreigner. $1 billion commitment over 30 years sounds good, but it's ultimately an announcement and it's not a business plan, which brings up the question, okay, so where does the actual opportunity lie here? It exists downstream, because as data centers start coming online, they need cooling, power engineering, fiber infrastructure, security, AI talent recruiting, and Spanish language enterprise AI deployment. These are real businesses that a foreigner with a technical background can actually build here. So bottom line, the macro tailwind is real. And there is opportunity, but that opportunity lies downstream. It is not direct. So please do not build a business plan around a press release. All right, next one, tourism. Surprising enough, Paraguay led the world in tourism growth in the first quarter of 2025, a 53% increase per UN tourism metrics. International visitor arrivals reached up to 3.66 million at the end of in 2025 alone. That is up 91% year over year. Okay, Paraguay, and tourism revenue surpassed $1 billion. Now, let's be fair. About 80% of those visitors are from Argentina, and nearly half are simply day trippers, not overnight tourists. So the absolute base is still small by regional standards. But the trajectory is real and the growth is undeniable. And the infrastructure gap is the opportunity. Outside of Asunción, Encarnacion, and the Iguazu corridor, Paraguay simply does not have the hotel inventory that you find in countries like Colombia, Mexico, and Costa Rica. But don't get me wrong, nature tourism and reporting strong annual growth here. And there is an uptrend on longer tours getting booked far in advance. Lets you get permanent residency for a $150,000 tourism project investment. And there are real projects already taking advantage of this and operating. In addition, there are boutique villa retreats here that are doing very, very well. Satori Zen, for example, as well as wedding and venues that are charging premium nightly rates and are packed out pretty well in advance. So that exists. And it's possible. But here's where you need to be careful. There are two completely different situations with the tourism route if you are considering that for the investor pass. If you're using tourism just for a residency shortcut, for example, it's often a bad idea because you have to create a genuine business and you're creating operational complexity and obligations for yourself just to get a residency, just to satisfy an immigration objective. So you're essentially signing up to run a business that you don't actually want to run. And we do not recommend that. But if there is a genuine tourism investment case with sufficient capital, a commercially sound model, and proper local execution, then the analysis changes completely. But remember, the business should drive structure, not the other way around. That means stress testing the model locally before committing any capital. And this includes reviewing real local demand, real pricing, seasonality, staffing, licensing, land or building requirements, operational costs, and realistic implementation timelines. Not just looking at someone else's reported numbers and assuming that you can just replicate those. So bottom line, genuine opportunity if the business case is real and it is growing fast. But do not use the tourism route as a residency shortcut and do not underwrite based on someone else's projections. Stress test everything locally first. All right, number 2, professional services. Paraguay went from roughly 29,000 residency applications in 2024 to 47,000 in 2025, with official projections pointing upwards of 80,000 in 2026, which means that is a huge wave of foreigners that all need the same things. Immigration lawyers, tax advisors, property managers, accountants who understand CRS and FATCA, relocation coordinators, banking introduction, language translation. There is a huge need, and the market is changing faster than the service infrastructure can actually support. And on top of this, most existing providers are small with limited capacity, which means that the gap between basic service and institutional grade delivery is huge. And that gap is exactly where a well-qualified foreigner with a relevant professional background can position. Now, what do these new residents actually need? Well, our team processes these cases every day, so I can tell you exactly what they're looking for. Clean company formation with proper guidance, not just a shell on paper, accounting that understands how foreign source income interacts with the territorial tax system, banking coordination that actually gets accounts opened and optimized, because that process alone can take months without the right preparation, contract review on real estate deals where the buyer does not speak the local language and the developer has no incentive to protect them, ongoing local representation for people who choose to set up their base here but want to travel frequently or not even live in Paraguay at all, and most importantly, someone who connects all these pieces together rather than making the client coordinate 5 different providers with 5 different services who don't even talk or interact with each other. But the honest reality too is you actually need to be on the ground here. You need Spanish or partners who can speak it, and you need to understand the local legal and tax system deeply enough with deep fluency, because your clients are trusting you with their big life decision here. You need real relationships with banks, notaries, immigration offices, and local authorities. And you need documented processes with clear success cases, not just good intentions. So deliver institutional grade quality or don't even think about it. Alrighty, number 1, real estate. It is hands down the most straightforward, most accessible, and most liquid opportunity for foreigners in Paraguay. Prime Asunción apartments at $1,500 to $2,000 per square meter. Argentinian and Brazilian capital flowing in, which is no surprise why Asunción is where Buenos Aires goes when the peso collapses. Additionally, construction has grown significantly over the last decade, and the market is still early stage by regional standards, which means opportunity, which of course comes with complexity too. So let me give you the real numbers and not just the marketing. Net yields on long-term furnished rentals are often closer to 4 to 6%, not the 10 to 15% you see marketed online. Be very skeptical of anyone promising double-digit yields in this market. Now, is it possible? It is. In good conditions, we're seeing well-run Airbnbs in good neighborhoods can perform well in the current cycle, but only with strong execution, realistic occupancy assumptions, good management, and the right unit in the right allocation. Because supply is coming online very fast. So the underwriting always needs to be conservative. Now, the real return is capital appreciation. Pre-construction units in prime neighborhoods can appreciate meaningfully by the time they deliver. And a lot of this is driven by the Argentine and Brazilian demand. Now, if the post-grade investment status pattern that we've seen in Lima, Montevideo, and Santiago repeat here in Asunción, we may have a decade of solid appreciation ahead. But this is a thesis and not a guarantee. But here's what we can guarantee with real estate and why it's number 1. The new Investor Pass real estate route grants permanent residency qualification through a $200,000 qualifying real estate investment. And depending on how the project is structured, payment schedule, and the document structure, qualification may even be possible before the entire amount is paid up front. But again, this is not a personal use property shortcut because the real estate investment has to be connected to economic use and not simply personal or for family. And on top of this, the structure needs to be set up properly from day one. But all this being said, very few residency by investment programs can offer this combination of entry cost, asset backing, and direct permanent residency potential. And on top of this, there is opportunity within the business, specifically property management, because property management in Paraguay is grossly underserved. The country has no real estate licensing regime, which means most agents are actually unlicensed, which also means that the gap between someone who books appointments and someone who delivers institutional grade service is huge. And that is also a gap where a foreigner with operational experience can fill. That's why building a bilingual property management company here with institutional grade service, with institutional grade delivery and local on-the-ground due diligence may be one of the biggest business opportunities in Paraguay right now. But I need to be honest about the risk too. Title fraud is real. There's double selling, expired powers of attorney, squatter claims on unattended land. There are challenges and they are real. So always pull a full history before committing capital. Also, gringo pricing is real. Because of the information asymmetry in the market, especially right now, foreigners are often quoted prices that are way above the local market. So always cross-check pricing through local listing platforms, recent comparable transactions, independent brokers, local operators doing deals on the ground actively, and legal due diligence before signing anything. And another thing, Asunción's infrastructure in over-densified neighborhoods like Villa Mora, for example, is pretty straining. There's heavy traffic, there's power issues, there's sewage problems, and you need to build that into your underwriting. Which brings us to another structuring question that most buyers skip. Should you buy in your personal name or through a company? Now, if you're buying a property just to live in, a personal name may be fine, but if you're building a portfolio, for example, with the intent of generating income, operating short-term rentals, Airbnbs, or planning to bring in a partner later, a properly formed company changes the picture entirely because it separates your personal liability from your investment activity, it creates clearer documentation for tax purposes, and it makes future transfers Sales or restructuring, much, much simpler. Our legal team sees a lot of cases where foreigners will buy 1, 2, 3 properties, all under their personal name, and then try to restructure later, which is much more expensive and complicated than just doing it right from the start. And lastly, one more risk that no one really talks about is that a meaningful share of new supply in Asunción is funded by buyer pre-sales rather than bank financing. Which means that if buyer confidence shifts, if Argentine capital slows down, for example, or Brazilian demand pulls back, some of these pre-construction projects could genuinely stall. Now, this does not mean do not buy pre-construction. It does mean understand how the project is capitalized and do not put 10% of your capital into a single project from a single developer. Bottom line, real estate is the cleanest, most liquid, and most accessible opportunity here in Paraguay. But go in with realistic yield expectations, run proper due diligence, structure your ownership correctly from day one, and do not buy based on a developer's PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so quick macro picture summary, because it does matter for everything I just ranked. Paraguay is genuinely bullish. Paraguay reported growth of 6.6% alone in 2026. That is one of the strongest performances in the region, hands down. Paraguay has also achieved investment grade status from Moody's, S&P, with Fitch very, very close to investment grade. On top of that, residency applications are booming, hitting all-time highs. Tourism is growing, all while Paraguay has this territorial tax structure where, if properly structured, foreign source income may fall outside of Paraguayan income taxation. On top of this, there's no wealth tax, no inheritance tax, no real estate tax, and the new investor pass routes that launched in April 2026 have made the road to permanent residency easier for serious investors, with capital starting at $150,000 at the lowest. So yes, Paraguay is a legitimate top destination in Latin America for tax-optimized residency and strategic business development. But it is not a magic solution. Deploy in stages, underwrite conservatively, and treat every press release and bullish news article as marketing and not actual data. So, what should you do if any of this resonated with you? Step 1, come here first. Spend time on the ground before you even think about deploying capital. Rent an Airbnb in Asunción for 3 months, for example, in the Gringo Circle. See the market with your own eyes. Talk to the people, eat the steaks, walk the streets, drink the terere, feel the pace and the life, because no spreadsheet that you see is going to replicate that. Step 2, get your residency established. Your residency here is the foundation for everything else. Banking, tax ID, company formation, property ownership, all of this starts with the residency. Step 3, get your specific situation assessed by a team that is actually here. Nationality, capital, business model, family situation. It all affects which path is right for you. So do not deploy capital based on a YouTube video alone, this one included. Do get it assessed by people that are on the ground dealing with this stuff every single day. So no, Paraguay is not a paradise. It is not the perfect place. Do not come here with blind bullishness. But it is also not a scam. And do not let people's FUD and fear taint your perceptions. It is simply a real country with real opportunity for people who do their proper homework and show up with the right execution. And if you do want our team to review your specific situation and help you figure out which path makes the best sense for you, you can book a strategy call. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.